Hello, Virgo. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Thoth Tarot or Toth Tarot, probably saying it wrong either way, by Aleister Crowley. It's at the top. And the Supportive Oracle Cards, Chakra Wisdom Oracle Cards by Tori Hartman, illustrated by Gretchen. There's her last name. Okay. Virgo. Virgo. 3. I'm going to do them face down so I don't get card drunk. Although half the deck comes out anyway. Okay. Alright. I don't think that helped. I still think I have a bunch out here, but that's okay. Virgo, what do we got for Virgo? You got a bunch coming in. I like your energy coming in. Let's see. This one's the hidden aspect. We're not going to do that one just yet. Okay. So, pop-up situations. That's the first thing I'm getting. Pop-up situations. All right, so coming into this situation, when you entered this realm, this situation, I almost want to say conundrum. You got enlightenment, renewal, and balance. Now, I'm saying when you entered it, because I really feel like when you came into this situation, it wasn't quite... Like, it doesn't feel to me like it was quite right. Like, when you came into it, you were expecting to help balance the situation out. When you entered into it, I'm getting there's an expectation that your addition into it was going to create a balance, that something had gone out of balance, your addition to it would balance it out. It's almost like coming into like starting a relationship with somebody who has kids, and you're expected to take on that other parent role, whatever that parent role may be. It's like that. It's almost like going right into it. You're expected to pick up the slack. You got enlightenment and renewal and balance. Like, literally, that's why you were coming into it. And in the environment, like, acceptance in the lovers is there, which the lovers can be passing the test. It doesn't have to be literally romantic. So it can be just passing the test or fitting perfectly. In the acceptance, like, you were accepted in because that's the role you were expected to take. That seems like a lot to get right into. Like, when you're going into it, that seems like a lot just to start off with. But I'm also getting the reason you did, because you had the Queen of Cups on your side. You believed in this situation. You believed it was the right thing to do, that you could do this, that it was a good thing. It's like I'm getting this weird feeling like not seeing things clearly. Like, not realizing what you were actually being asked to do. Although it seemed like you did, but there's a lot more when you got into it, is what I'm getting. Then you entered into it, and you started off doing what you were going to do. All right, so you entered into it knowing this. I feel like you knew it, and you're like, all right, let's make it happen. Let's create this. Let's move forward. Let's put this in order. 2 face-down cards, which means when it happened... Ooh, you have the Sun card. Oh, I love that. That's pretty. I haven't seen it in this deck. Sun card on your side. You made a big impact. A big impact, and you're like, you want me to fix it? Here we go. And you just, one foot in front of the other, you did what needed to be done. It kind of felt like you knew what to do. It was like instinctive, like, well, this is how you do that, and this is how this is done. And you just made sure things got done, and you put the plan in motion. The people you were dealing with maybe weren't familiar with the plan, maybe something you grew up with or knew instinctively. But it's just kind of like, you're like, well, this is obviously this is not how you do this. This is how you do it. So you just put it in perspective, and you're like, this isn't right. This is how you do that. And you put that in perspective. To you, it was like common sense. Like, this is how this should go. You put it where it was supposed to go. You got the Sun card. Like, everything, like, I don't see you getting any pushback. I'm also seeing the face-down card in the environment. Like, people, like, they had a hard time going with it, but basically that's why you were there, so they had to go along with it. And perseverance is telling me that, like, things were getting better right away. Right away, I feel like things got better. Like, you did good. You did really good with that. Is this the Knight of Swords? The Prince of Swords kind of feels like the Knight of Swords for me. And I'm getting like there's some defensive action here. It's kind of like there's a lot of moving things around, making things work, getting things to work out. trying to protect yourself, but also feeling completely vulnerable with communication. Like, I feel like you had to do what you had to do, but there's communication between you and this element is really like, I feel like there's a lot of dodging in and out here. And I feel like you're kind of like, nope, got to do it that way. And they're trying to get around it a little bit, but you're like, nope, this is the plan. You have the Sun card, so I feel like you weren't expecting people to just easily go forward with it. So people trying to dodge around you and stuff like that or do things differently, you're like, no, this is how it is, and you knew that was going to happen. It doesn't seem to affect your stride at all. Like, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. Just nope, you got to do it this way. Nope, you got to do it this way. And it's like, nope, you got to do it this. Like, you completely expected to have to repeat yourself, and you do. You're like, yep, nope, I knew that was going to happen. Nope, nope, this way, this way. This way. Like I feel like you keep having to do it, but you expected it. Doesn't seem to be bothering you. I feel like other people, when they got the Nine of Wands here, I feel like they're holding it together. They're holding it together because they're knowing it's worth it. That's kind of what I'm getting with this. Perseverance with the Nine of Wands. It's kind of like they're holding the ground. They're holding ground here. They're holding steady with where they need to be because they know it's working. And it's not the easiest for the people you're dealing with is what I'm getting. But they know it needs to happen. The Chariot card coming in on your side next is kind of like, all right, we've been going well this far. We got to go a little faster now. Natural progression to you. For other people who are kind of having a hard time with this already, it might be an extra burden for them because they were already having a hard time. Natural progression for you. It's just like, okay, we're going at this rate. Now we got to go a little higher. Let's go. And you're like, it's not a lot. Just a little. Come on, just a little bit more. We got to get this on point. It's not there yet. The face down card is the this is the Nine of Swords. You have the Nine of Wands. It's now going into the Nine of Swords. That's where you hit a bump. This is face down because until it happens, you're going well at the certain speed. Then you're like, all right, got to go a little faster. We're not where we're supposed to be yet. That's where it starts to kind of fall apart. I'm getting like people don't know what to do. Like it's too much and they get a little bit overwhelmed. You can do it, but you know what you're doing. You have more of a sense of what's happening. You understand the mechanisms or mechanics. You know how it works. You know how it works. I don't know. I'm spitting out some weird words here, but you know how it works. So you understand this is going to go with that, and then you have to put this over here, and then we got to make sure this is done so it works over here. You know how it works. This other energy, even though to you it seems second nature, to them it's just, even if you've explained it to them 50 times, it just doesn't sink in. It's kind of like with me in insurance, it just doesn't sink in. I can understand complex math equations for some reason, and I can remember them to a point, like logarithms and stuff like that, but like insurance, like it just goes, I don't know what that's about, just right out, in, out, just doesn't stick. And I feel like this might be the situation you're dealing with these people. Like, they're smart, and you're like, you're smart, how do you not get this? Because it literally is just it doesn't stick. No matter how much they want it to, it doesn't stick. And they're kind of like, the quest is like, they're trying to figure out what they're supposed to do with it. They don't understand why it's becoming so hard now. Why does it have to go faster? Yep, grief popping in over there. Now this is what is this? The 11 here. They're giving the Lust card, which makes me feel like it's kind of like the devil feel. It's probably not, but that's kind of what I'm feeling here. You want this to work out. You're trying to make this work out. There's some confusion here. The devil card, I think that's the devil card, honestly. And they have grief. Like, you're kind of like, listen, I just wanted you to go a little faster. What's the problem? I've explained this to you many times. They can't seem to do it. The grief is kind of making me feel like also it's kind of like there might be a stubborn feel with this. Like, you know, now that it fell apart, why bother moving? That kind of feel. You're getting angry with it, kind of like, listen, come on, we got to keep moving. Like, stop, don't stop completely. I understand you're having a hard time going faster, but let's at least do what we used to do. Come on, let's get back on the point. You're not happy when that kind of falls through. That's what they're warning you about. See, all this is face down, but I feel like this moment is what they're warning you about. If this hits you at the right time, hopefully, this energy can't handle the next progression up. It can't. It's going to implode. They can't. They just can't. I don't know what to tell you. On your side, I feel like you're looking at it like, well, that makes no sense. It's not that hard. They can't. They implode, and it's a warning that they're going to implode. It's going to make you very upset when it happens. But I also feel then afterwards, you're kind of like, now what do I do? The mysticism makes me feel like you're like, I don't know what to do with this now. They can't handle the next step up, is what I'm getting. There's a problem here. You got prayer and isolation coming in right with it. When it hits this moment, they don't know what to do with it either. They just can't seem to handle any faster. I know to you it seems like that doesn't make sense, is what I'm thinking. If this really hits with you, it's kind of like, I don't understand. It's not that much more. They just can't do it. I know what to tell you. They just can't. So you get mysticism here with the prayer and isolation. It's kind of like you need to find a different way to make this work out. I think you have to kind of like find out what it is they're having a problem with and why it's getting stuck. Because it's getting jammed. It's like a machine it's like an old rusty machine that keeps getting jammed. You're like, what's not making sense here? And you got to realize, like, I'm explaining these things, but they're not sticking. What's not sticking, and then try to get beneath that. Like, why isn't it sticking? Like, I don't know if you're going to figure that out, because it's kind of like me with insurance. Like, I don't know why I don't retain it. I just don't retain it. Again, logarithms. I don't know what to tell you about that. For some reason, they're interesting to me. Insurance, no. I feel like you're not going to, I just don't feel like you can push it up the next level. You have to find a different way to handle this. So taking the same stuff and just getting it going a little faster, I feel like they can't go faster. I don't know why. They just can't. So they're trying to give you this heads up before you hit this bump and realize there's going to have to be some other change or some other way to tackle it. Like in doing things a different way, you might have to find a different way to do things so they can handle going faster. You're going to have to simplify it maybe. You might have to simplify it. That makes me feel better. Because to you it doesn't seem like it's complicated, but to them it is. So you might have to simplify it and make the things easier, more just, you might have to simplify things down, and then you might be able to get them up a level. Or 2. Maybe 3. If you simplify it enough, that could make a big difference. You might literally have to simplify it quite a bit. To where you can simplify it but still get the progression. Like, you know what to do. Like, you're going to know how to simplify it and how far you can go with that, so I'm not going to go crazy with it. Alright, I think we're there. I'm going to shut this down here. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.